by any chance you haven't had a good chance to get around that vendor hall, you should. Those vendors have flown in from all around Australia to actually present here or to be here. So don't forget to go and thank the people who make these events possible. Let me introduce the next speaker. So Andrew Colagiuri. Now, you've already seen him before, and you're aware that he transitioned from a real estate agency owner to become the founder of a prop tech startup called Flick It Over. Now, that is FLK It Over, for those of you trying to spell that. His commitment to customer service is at the core of his career. We've already picked up on that, and the philosophy and firmly believes technology should amplify the customer service experience and never replace it. Flick It Over is basically an e-signing or e-document platform. And Andrew's formula is simple. He mentioned it before: identify pain points, leverage technology, and enhance the end-user experiences. His leadership has propelled Flick It Over to the forefront of digital signing technology innovation. If you're not aware where Flick It Over actually has its, I guess its strength, it's in a lot of areas, but it would be in the rental application form. Is that correct? Great. Please welcome Andrew Colagiuri to the stage. I'm going to ask him some hard questions. Hard questions. I feel like Tom Gleeson for a minute. You didn't sign up for that today, did you? No. Tell us about you. How did you get where you're going? You need to turn it on. That's upwards. Yep. Tell us about you. How did you get into this chair? How you left real estate to become...
I'm eating a bit at the moment. I just got into this chair is probably the right answer. I was in real estate. I started my career actually selling off the plan for Meriton Apartments, progressed into agency work. 2012 started my own agency, and clients would say, okay, we bought the property, can you manage it? And I was like, no, I'm in sales, that's beneath me, I don't do that. And just kept on turning it away.
It's beneath you. Yeah. Oh, did you hear that, property managers?
No,
don't be buying him a drink.
I'm getting there. And then I was like, okay, maybe I will take on management, and started management and just fell in love with it. And that's, by the time I merged my business, I was doing a little bit of sales and a lot of property management.
So, I have to pause, there's a lot to unpack there. Property management, fell in love with it.
Yeah. Is that rare? Or, yeah.
In the last 2 years, Bo, what would you say? Is that rare? Yeah. So you either love it or you hate it, but he's a lover.
And I owned my agency till December 2022. So it's only 15 months ago I exited, and we had about 1,300 managements. And
we are all the better for it. So tell me about the crazy decision to go up against a massive worldwide. By the way, Reach Australia invested in DocuSign 24 years ago. So it's one of the first companies we ever invested in. We still hold that investment. We also invest in competing products, and Andrew from Flick It Over has that. Why would you go up against a conglomerate like DocuSign?
Yeah, I'd love to claim it was some research at the time, or it was a decision. When we started in 2017, digital signing wasn't well adopted at all. DocuSign wasn't even used by a real estate agent. It was a corporate product at the time. It was, I'm famous for not doing much thinking before I sort of think the old thing, jump off the building and build the parachute on the way down. And I just thought there had to be a better way to do things. It was mainly around the lease renewal for me. Right. Getting people to go, can you come back to my office and sign the exact same document? The only thing that's changed is the start date and end date, and maybe the rent. And then they'll ask you, email it, then it'll come back in bits and pieces. I'd forget to initial something. And it's just removing that game of tennis from my workflow was probably what I was trying to do at the start.
So to the people in the audience here, who uses document signing platforms? I don't care which one, but who uses them on the regular? That's a lot of people. Who doesn't use them? Please be brave here. Who doesn't use? Anybody not using? Anyone still on pen and paper? Well, unless they're here to learn, Sam, unless they're here to learn. I've made that mistake before. I asked in the last audience who still owns a filing cabinet, and there were quite a few. Who owns a filing cabinet? There we go. See, that surprised me. Anyway, okay, so we're all on document signing platforms. How's that experience for you? Good? By and large, good? What about for your consumer? Do your consumers love it? Is love the wrong word? Tolerate, it's there, we'll do it. I mean, from my perspective as a consumer, let's talk about a car loan or something along those lines. The process used to be that you would leave, you'd go to an office and sit in front of somebody and actually sign them, right? So we are, as a society, happier that docu-signing or document signing exists, right? Would that be correct? Help me out here. I know it's the end of the day. But you guys would consider it an inconvenience if you went to buy a car and you had to sign that contract at the actual car dealer. Am I right on that? So I think we all understand that society has moved and we had to go along that. Do you think COVID pushed people over?
It probably made the industry grow up 5 or 10 years faster than it was willing to. But when I created Flick It Over, so end of the day, your SMS, whoever hasn't used it, your SMS, at least to the tenant, goes to their smartphone. I was terrified because I'm like, I'm the world's best property manager because I sit down with that tenant and I explain the lease. And if I don't get to do that, I'm going to have rent arrears and all these problems. And it was really hard for me personally, who built the product, to let go of that interaction. But it had no consequences. No.
Right. So you didn't notice from any of the people who would normally sign the platform, you didn't notice any kind of kickback on that?
No, it was, what I try to do is, I've never used a competing product, but when they used to come to our office, we'd sit down, we'd explain the document step by step. When we went digital, it was just, here's a PDF, type your name and you're done. So, and it just, they click finish. They don't have to read or engage with the document. What we try to do using technology is bring back that explanational nature to the document. You know, sometimes tenants are younger demographic, not very well versed at reading legal documents. So for those who haven't seen our product, you get sent a link, you click on the link, and it's not a PDF with a signature panel. It walks you step by step. Your name's John Smith. I agree. Loads the next page. You're moving to 1 Jones Street. I agree to that. It's a 12-month lease starting. So just 1 or 2 bits of information per screen. And the document and the lease is now explained to them again.
So would you say it doesn't actually feel like a contract at all? Or,
it's very...
even though it is, it doesn't...
Tenants find it a very clean and transparent process.
Right.
Yeah, and it also highlights a lot of mistakes that are in the systems. Hang on, it was meant to be a 12-month lease, not a 6-month lease. You've got my name spelt wrong. Those kind of things are flushed out during the process as well. That can save you ending up in tribunal. What
kind of feedback do you get from people using your platform? Is it like, are the agents saying they love it? Is it consumer feedback? Where do you find your biggest win? And is there something you want to talk about that you're not happy about that you're...
Yeah, we're always trying to be better. That'll be something we never rest on our laurels. The product's always evolving. It depends on the agency. So the main reason for me at the start was a time-saving nature. So again, you'd approve them on the Monday and twiddle your thumbs till Saturday waiting for the tenant to come back and sign that lease. In a bad market, that was a nervous 5 days because every agent's trying to undercut you, go, hang on, we'll drop out rent and try and get your tenant off you. So it was shutting that period to approve them on Monday, get the deposit Monday night, sign Tuesday morning. So closing that loop, that was the initial. Most people, as you saw before, are on a digital signing tool now. So now we're about, okay, how can we give you the most efficiency? We communicate via SMS. Data's clean, crystal clear. It is by far the best way and the fastest way to capture a signature. So if we can lock in your tenant faster or your managing agency agreement or your sale faster, you can move your business forward faster with more momentum.
Yeah, one of the hesitations I always used to have as a business owner is moving from one platform to another because of the setup. Is your setup convoluted? And
no, so this is a true story. When I, again, not being technical, when I engage somebody to build this for me, it's got to be easy to use, it's got to be fun, and my mum's got to be able to use it. Like, she still couldn't use it on CR.
Can your mum use it?
Yeah, she could. And that was the test. That was the test to get it live. I was like, if mum can use this, we're onto something. But when we launched, I work in the inner city of Sydney, so I was probably a little bit of isolated market. We went straight to Port Macquarie. A lot of retirees, and I wanted to find my biggest objections or my biggest hurdles straight away. And if I could solve it for Port Macquarie, then I'm like, okay, the rest of the market.
Great nomads. Yeah. Do they need to sign leases or they just have caravans? Can you lease those out?
Yeah, you can.
Excellent. How about you guys? Document signing. Do you guys have questions for Andrew? Like, I mean, I've got more and I can keep firing them, but you're all aware of the document signing platform. Do you guys have questions for Andrew? There's one at the back. Where's my runner? Sam Al-Maliki? Please grab a microphone. Oh, no, we've got them both here. Here, take mine. Run.
Thank you, sir. I thought I might have a nap.
I got really excited before when you said it's going to check for errors. How close to launching something like that would you be?
Yeah, I was actually talking to my developers on the way down here. We've got in a state, it's risky from a point of view of, like, we're trading on the data that's in our platform, but let's just say Queensland changed the legislation at midnight tonight, which is when they changed the legislation. The next day, I'll still be reading the old legislation. So it takes a while to learn on. So it's sort of like playing around and go, okay, how accurate is this? And then when do we need to teach it new things? So I don't have a timeline on it, but it's sort of just an example of, like, I look at the CRMs. Imagine going to Property Me, just show me all properties that haven't had a rent increase in 18 months. You just talk to the system and it just spits you a list. At the moment, you've got to know how to search and look for that. Or show me all properties that haven't had a routine inspection done in the last 12 months, and it isolates them per property manager.
Andrew, you're a developer's dream by not giving away time frame. Any other questions? I used to work with 6 software engineers, and they hate a salesperson who commits them to a time frame. Please, sir.
It's a similar question, but one of the issues that we potentially look at with other platforms that you can sign documents on is actually making changes. So if you're doing a sales contract, for example, and the price is renegotiated or whatever it is, does your platform allow for us to change something like that quickly and easily?
Yeah, on a tenancy agreement, we handle the whole flow. So if you send a lease and the tenant says, hey, it's not meant to be 9, it's meant to be 8, they trigger a change request, you get an email, there's an alert in the system, you click on it, it opens the lease in our system at that page, you make the edit, click resolved, it resends them a new link, and they keep on progressing. So we handle, from a leasing point of view, managing agency and a sales agreement, that whole flow of information will change. If you send a PDF through our system, if you've used our system to put the free text on the document and someone says, hey, you got the price wrong or we've changed our mind, move it back to drafts, edit the free text, resend back out again. So we've got...
You don't have the same workflow for sales that you do?
Well, sales contract, if it's a sales contract, you've typically uploaded a one-off PDF. So we can't provide that content, but when we provide the content, we can facilitate the whole workflow management of request and error, and it's all done in the system.
It kind of makes sense when you're talking about the leasing handoff and trying to reduce back and forth, but also increase comprehension. What would be something that's a little bit less obvious where you've seen your type of approach to document signing actually have a great impact on the workflow of an agency or a property manager or a sales agent?
Yeah, well, there's so many different scenarios. It's, I was talking to an agent the other day and they're like, they had a deceased estate and there was 3 owners that were now, what do they call them as deceased? The 3 beneficiaries, all in 3 different locations. So prepared it, sent it there. Older generation, triggered 3 SMSs. I think one was in Brisbane, one was in Tasmania, and one was, I think, South Australia. And 10 minutes later, the signed document back in the inbox. So it's just finding those. There's so many different scenarios. I was at, like, my accountant uses our system, and I was at having Yumcha on Sunday morning. He sent me all my BAS statements to lodge. I'm like, agree, sign. If he emailed that to me, he would have got it Monday morning. He's working Sunday morning because he SMS'd it to me. I integrated and signed. He finished his day's work and lodged all those documents. So it's just about that speed of capturing and allowing you to move forward faster. Because if you go into an inbox, it is saved for a desktop experience. We're all out of the office now. We're all referencing our emails. We're probably not replying to too many emails. We're definitely replying to text messages.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
I have one while we're on it. Can you talk to me about predictive analytics? You have that built in. I mean,
Not yet. Yeah.
I know it's a broad. Is this something future?
Yeah, I see a lot of AI in real estate. Like, we will do things that make it efficient, smarter. I think they're really in the CRMs of the world where they're going to add true value. Like, we'll add some convenience and value there. Yep. I see that really being in your property me's, your agent boxes, your rec software. Those systems where you'll see like amazing value if they nail how to deliver. Like, you don't need to understand AI. As long as the software you use can understand it for you and make it really easy to access and use, then I think that's where the benefit is.
And as far as document signing, like irrelevant of platform or e-signing, what do you see the future holding for this area? I mean, obviously we're not going to go back. I can't see us signing paper contracts, but are there advancements that you can see for that area?
So we're playing around with prompts at the moment. So again, you talked about documents before. We're teaching it to learn from our own environment. So you want to do a breach notice, you can just go // I want to issue a breach notice for smoking, and it'll scan all the documents and formulate a breach notice around that. Again, be very, very cautious, and we'll talk to Sam, a good lawyer in the room, when you're creating legal documents to make sure that is correct. And I've been kicking the tyres on ChatGPT for a long time to try and trick it up on New South Wales legislation. Yep. And I haven't got it to make a mistake yet.
And New South Wales is obviously where you're based, so most of the heart's there. Is there an area that you're not operating in?
WA, Tassie at the moment.
Okay,
We do have agents using our product there from just the PDF uploader point of view, but
Yep.
from all the real estate code baked into it, it's South Australia, Victoria, ACT, New South Wales, Queensland.
Very good. I just had one question, and there's another one from William. Integrations into other software providers along the consumer and agent experience?
Yep. Property Me, Property Tree, Manage, To Apply. We've got a couple of others that are due to come out in May. I think we've got another 3 being delivered in May on the sales side of the business as well.
Fantastic. Will?
Andrew, there was a lot of talk on legal documents. At the moment, this whole platform is very focused on property management, right? Is there a direction on potentially going to other sort of non-property management related sectors?
In real estate or in other sectors? Or?
In real estate.
In real estate. Yeah, we're an end-to-end solution now for the whole office. So it can be used by property management, sales, HR, and operations.
Okay. And from a tenant aspect, let's say if I'm a tenant, how would I know the document that I received is the standard document? Do you have like a summary or like a rating that's telling me that this is like 99%?
Yes. So from a tenancy point, like we live in every form in every state's a prescribed document when it comes to residential tenancy agreement.
Yeah.
So we've got our own in-house legal team. So we've got the prescribed form which we can't touch, and then we add the additional terms as long as it doesn't contradict the act.
Yeah.
So there's no rating needed. Where every document we deliver, I always say to our dev team, you can't beta test a pacemaker, right? It's just got to work from day one.
Okay, so there's unlikely to be a variation where like say a large language model can summarize and tell me that this is like different from a regular standard.
Well, they're all standard from a residential tenancy point of view.
Okay.
So from a lease, it's all the exact same document, right? If we've made a mistake, then it's possibly non-compliant. From a rent increase or a termination notice, they're usually not standard documents unless it's Queensland.
Yeah.
And then it's just got a standard format. You must nominate the address, you must nominate the rent, and it goes through a formula you've got to follow.
Okay.
But there isn't any need to scan the document and
Thanks.
sort of say if it's correct or not, because there's no grey area. It's either right or wrong.
Thanks, William. You've got 2 more than most people. Any other questions?
No. Any final words from your perspective, Andrew, as to what makes you guys different?
It's probably, you touched on it before, mainly focusing on that customer experience. Like all the features within our system I've developed because of my own frustrations. Like we've got key tracking software in Flick It Over where you go to check out a key, you scan a QR code so you can take a photo of the key. And that purely came during COVID. I had to go work reception because everyone was stuck at home. And I was like, how do I check out a key? Like, open the Google spreadsheet, highlight it orange, put the return date. And I was like, what the hell are we doing? So we can build technology to replace that. So, you can send 6 documents to be reviewed in one SMS. And that's just because we were doing some legal work. And like, can you sign these 6 documents? I had to upload them one by one. So everything in there is just real world, day-to-day problems that I'm trying to solve for myself.
And I'm so sorry, Peter, we're not ready to flick Andrew over yet. There's one more question.
One more? Yep.
It appears that it's obviously biased towards the property management at the moment. Is there any plans to integrate sales contracts and things like that into your system? And are they recognised by the Queensland Law Society and things like that? I think that's obviously very important to us.
Yeah, so we are end-to-end now. In Queensland, we've got the Form 6 for property management and sales. You can upload your own sales contract. From memory, the Law Society contract is licensed to RealWorks or REIQ, so I don't think we could have that in the system. There's no reason why we've got what we call upload a doc, which is our version of DocuSign. There's no reason why you can't upload your own documents and send them for signing. So all our documents in our system can be templated. So I'll use an employment agreement. When I employ someone, I used to go to my Word document, change all the little yellow boxes that the lawyer highlighted into the actual data. What's the employee's name, start date, role and wage. I've just saved that in my system once now, and I've gone, when I know the information, put that here, and when I want to employ someone, just go do an employment agreement. It opens up 6 boxes. I just write their name, their start date, their role, their wage, and their notice period, and press send, and it merges it with the saved PDF. So you put that across auction reserve letters, change a shared tenancy, an owner ring up and say, I want to change my bank details. You can just SMS it to them. They can answer questions on their side before the PDF is generated. So owner bank changes is a great one. Reason being, it wasn't intentional. We take it out of the email inbox, which is where we're all weakest when it comes to security. So you send it from our system. They can type in their BSB account, builds a PDF. They sign that PDF, you get it back. It's all out of emails.
Thanks, Andrew. Sorry, there is one final.
Just also a sales-related question. Something that sort of pricked my ears up that you mentioned earlier was that it sort of simplifies it. Is there actually, as it comes up and gets them to, confirm their name and everything like that, can you actually give an explanation around like what it is that they're filling out? So, for example, contract for sale, like this is and obviously we do the negotiations, but sometimes when you're talking to people and then when they're signing it, they kind of get a little bit confused, especially first home buyers.
Yep.
So when they then go in there, is it something where you can actually have an explanation around this is standard and have that sort of as automatically uploading when you put a PDF in to send out? Because I find like a lot of the explanations that we give to people are the same for every single buyer.
Yep. So if you upload a PDF to our system, you've got a document introduction. And you can include that on the email, it's out in the system. So let's just say it's a sales contract. It's like, congratulations on having your offer accepted. Please make sure you focus on page 5, clause 6, and you can that can be as long or as short as you want to introduce the document or explain what they're reviewing at the same time.
Okay, so it will be at the beginning. It's not something that comes up as they get to different.
Not as they're
sections
going
of the
through
document.
the PDF.
Is that something that you're looking at doing?
I need to talk to a lawyer because it's scary to put things on PDF and then they're like, hang on, that was visible, instructing us what to do, but on the final PDF it's actually not there and that instruction's disappeared.
Yeah.
So it's always having things on the PDF instructional that aren't on the final copy is a little bit dangerous sometimes.
Yeah,
depending on
I
what
thought
the
that might be
instruction
the
is.
case, but I just
Yeah.
ask.
We should definitely talk, Andrew.
You're going to invoice me after this.
Exactly. The billable hours or minutes are going up.
He's probably going to invoice me for making him run around with the microphone after all of that. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, can you please give Andrew a big round of applause?
Thank you.
Andrew actually came in here last minute. I think you caught it earlier that he caught an Uber from Brisbane into here, and you're going to catch one back. Is that correct?
Can I say, if Budget Car Rental had AI, I would have had a rental car, but they didn't have AI, so I had to get an Uber.
And actually, Andrew's too shy to ask if anyone is heading back to Brisbane anytime soon. You're sorted. You're sorted. Well, there you go.